Section 1.8 is mostly problem solving, word problems that apply addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So let's read the first problem. In a recent year, Reader's Digest, that is one of the best-selling US magazines, that was one, and that is, we are given a number, 12,212,000. So Reader's Digest is 12,212,000 annual subscriptions. Sports Illustrated is another magazine that has 3 million, so that's Sports Illustrated, has 3,252,900 annual subscriptions. How many more subscriptions did Reader's Digest have than Sports Illustrated? Now, clearly, Reader's Digest has a larger number of subscriptions than Sports Illustrated. How many more? Which means, what is the difference between the number of subscriptions of Reader's Digest and Sports Illustrated? Which means this involves subtraction. How many more? It's not asking for the sum of all subscriptions. It's saying how many more is one than the other. So we subtract the smaller number from the larger number. So let's subtract. First of all, line up the numbers based on place values. The ones have to match up with the ones, the tens with the tens, and so on. So make sure you're lining it up correctly and then do the subtraction. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. So we're in the tens place. Now, 0 minus 9, you have to go in the order. Cannot be done because 0 is smaller than 9. So we borrow. And we have a 10 minus 9, which is a 1. Now we have 1 minus 2. Now obviously we cannot subtract a 2 from a 1 in this context. So we borrow. This becomes a 0 and that becomes 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. Next we go 0 minus 5. You have to go in the exact same order. Don't switch the orders. So we have 0 minus 5 cannot be done. So we borrow a 1. So that becomes a 10 minus 5. That's not a 6. That doesn't look clear. So that's a 10 minus 5, which is a 5. And next is 1 minus 2. Cannot be done. So we borrow. And that becomes 11 minus 2 is a 9. And then we have a 1 minus 3, which cannot be done. So we borrow. This becomes a 0 and that becomes 11 minus 3 is 8. And make sure to double check. How do we double check if the subtraction is correct? Anybody can make mistakes, so we need to double check and make sure. So we have 3,252,900, and then we add the answer, 8,959,100. And if our answer is the first row, which is the number of Reader's Digest subscriptions, then we know we are correct. So 0 plus 0 is 0, 0. Carry the 1 over, 9 plus 1 is 10. So that would be 12. Carry the 1 over. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Carry the 1 over, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's double check. 12,212,000 subscriptions. So our answer is absolutely correct. So this problem involved subtraction. And the reason why it's subtraction is because it says how many more subscriptions did Reader's Digest have than Sports Illustrated? Now the next problem. The floor of a rectangular room has 62 rows of tiles with 38 tiles in each row. So basically there are 38 tiles in each row. So that's 38 tiles. The next row has 38 tiles. The next row has 38 tiles. And if we had to count the total number of tiles, we'd probably be adding 38 plus 38 plus 38. But the list is long. We have to add 62 rows of 38 tiles. So we'd go dot, 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 and then the 62nd number is again a 38. So we're going to add 62 such numbers. Repeated of addition of 38 62 times translates to multiplication. So it's basically 38 plus 38 plus 38. And how many times do we add 38? 62. And that's one way of thinking about this problem, and that would give you 62 times 38. So repeated, if you're repeatedly adding the same number, in this case it was 38, multiple times, then repeated addition gives you multiplication. Repeated addition is defined as multiplication. So you have to be careful what you're repeatedly adding. You're repeatedly adding 38 62 times. So 62 times 38 should be our final answer. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 6s are 48 plus 1 49. 3 2s and of course 3 is really a 30, so we put a 0. 3 2s are 6. 6 3s are 18. 6 9 plus 6 is 15. 8 plus 4 is 12. 13. Carry the 1 over. 2,356 tiles. And why did we multiply here? Because we noticed that each row has 38 tiles, the same number of tiles. And if we are going to find the total, in our heads we were thinking, oh, it's 38 plus 38 plus 38. But if it's 62 times, it's just better to solve the problem with multiplying 38 by 62. Repeated addition of 38 62 times is 62 times 38. And make sure you double check the answer. So here we have a total of 2,356. Don't forget to write tiles. In the previous problem, 8 million, the answer was 8,959,100 subscriptions. So Reader's Digest has 8,959,100 subscriptions more than Sports Illustrated. So we have the next problem. It says, what is the cost? So our final answer has to be in dollars. To tile a rectangular room with dimensions 12 feet by 20 feet if tile costs $3 per square foot. So we can assume that each tile is 1 foot by 1 foot. So that's an area of 1 foot times 1 foot, which is 1 foot square. 1 times 1 is 1 foot times foot is foot squared, just like 2 times 2 is 2 squared. Same way, we have a foot square. So it's, if one tile is 1 foot by 1 foot, it's going to cost us $3. Now first let's figure out how many such tiles we need. So let's see, the rectangular room has dimensions 12 feet by 20 feet. Okay, so it's like saying there are 12 tiles, and you can go dot dot dot. There are 12 tiles in each row, and there are 20 rows. So the total number of tiles, which is the same as saying what is the total area. So first we calculate area, which is length times width. So that would be 12 feet times 20 feet. So that's 12 times 20. So let's do the multiplication here. 12 times 20. So 0. And then you have 2 times 2 is 4. 2 ones are 2. That's 240. Another way of thinking about this is 12 times 2 is 24 times 10 is 240, because this is something like 12 times 2 times 10. 20 is 2 times 10. 12 times 2 is 24 times 10, which is 240. Either way, we have 240. Foot times foot is foot square. Remember, the units of area is square units. So it's foot square. Now, how many feet square or square feet are in this room? There are 240 square tiles that are 1 foot by 1 foot. Now, each square tile costs $3. So 240 tiles would cost 3 times $240. So it's 1 square foot is $3 per 1 foot square is the same as $3 per, which is divided by 1 foot square, times 240 feet square. So we cancel the common factor and we have to multiply 3 with 240. It's just another way of saying there are 240 tiles. Each tile costs $3, and that's where the multiplication comes in. And that is equal to, let's do the multiplication, 240 times 3. 3 zeros is 0, 4 threes are 12, 3 twos are 6, plus 1, 720. So what we are measuring is the cost, or what we are calculating is the cost. So it's in dollars. It's $720.